have actually been a huge winner in this whole pandemic, which is, you know, a crazy thing to contemplate. Okay, let's talk agenda for the call today. We're updated. We're constantly updating, you know, our website, trying to do a better job articulating who we are, what we do. And so I just made a new video from like a session last Wednesday. It'll be a little weird and disjointed because I'm going to change outfits and you'll see some different faces on the Zoom call, but it's a really good introduction to like who we are, what we do at a high level. The video goes about 20 minutes. And so we'll play that. It'll answer a bunch of your questions. And then I'll come back on the other side, rant for a little bit, and then into your questions. And really encourage you to ask them. It doesn't necessarily just need to be about us, what we do, our service, but I talk to literally hundreds of artists and photographers a week between customers and folks like you guys on these art business workshops, and been doing that for a long time. I would go as far to say I'd probably talk to more artists and photographers on a week in, week out basis than anyone else I'm aware of, full stop. So I've heard it all. I've seen it all. I'm really good at marketing, and I've got data on 4,700 customers. And so you pair that all together and have a very good idea of what you should be doing at this particular point in your career. If you've never sold anything before, tell me that. If you're picking up steam in one area or another, you're wondering about niche, you're wondering about markups, about whether you should be doing shipping, how many styles or too many styles, price points, limited editions, how to handle signing, anything related to your art business. I have a ton of feedback for you, and we'll have a ton of feedback. So hope you have questions ready. And it can be about quite literally anything, but April, start the video, and please disregard the quick outfit change, and I'll see you guys in like 20 minutes or so. Go ahead, April. This is the homepage I'm talking about that we just like recently redid, and I think it does a really good job articulating sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. And if you scroll down the page, there's a bunch of videos and me explaining a whole bunch of things, everything that we do from top to bottom. But our tagline, which states everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, really does sum up what we do. You know, we get pigeonholed as they're a website company. They're a website company. And yes, we do offer websites, but it is a tiny, tiny portion of what we do. Ultimately, we learned a couple of years ago, the hard way, by the way, if we are going to grow and be successful as a business, art storefronts, that is 100% dependent, surprise this one, but on how successful our customers are, on how much art and photography our customers are selling on a yearly basis. And so when you look at that as the problem that we're solving, it becomes so much more than a website, because a website is not enough. But still, we're going to talk about the website. I'm going to get into the other layers as we go down. So it does indeed all start with the website. I will pull one up because it'll make it more interactive. And, you know, anyone that's been attempting to sell art or photography for any period of time, and I'll use Bono today, they know one thing conclusively: selling art in an e-commerce capacity digitally online is not like selling other items. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or electric scooters or bicycles or anything else, right? Buying art, okay, and buying art online is A, an extremely visual process, and B, an extremely friction-filled process. And what do I mean by friction? I mean, friction is all of the various different things, okay, that will prevent a visitor to your website from turning into a buyer, okay? And so really everything that we do with our software is attempt to solve for this friction, okay? To solve for the friction, to solve for how important the visual aspects are towards selling art and photography online. And, you know, it's never any one feature. It's all of the features working together. It can be little things like when you select a media type, which is canvas, it changes to a canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. Most people don't even know what a canvas is. And so we've developed special videos that show the differences, the nuances in the real world, what an actual canvas print looks like, what's going to show up at their house, what are the high points of this one, is canvas different than metal? Oops, I missed a click on that. And so you can see what a metal print looks like and how it's sitting flat, eventually how it's hanging up, all the nuances, the intricacies, because it is such a visual process buying art. We have a feature called the wall preview, which allows you to cycle through various different room types. Again, such a visual process buying art. Not only can you circle through the different room types, and yes, you can add your own room type images in. We use some generic ones by design, and you can size pieces up and down, see what it's going to look like. Do I need a 36 by 49? Is that too big? Do I instead want a 28 by 38? We're making it easier for your potential customer to get to a buying decision. What if they want to, their walls aren't white, right? What if they're this ugly color? Or there's something a little bit darker? Is the piece going to look good with this color, right? Because again, buying art is just such an incredibly visual process. Another feature that everybody likes to talk about that we get a lot of plaudits for is we have this feature, excuse me, mute that, called live preview with AR, okay? And what this is this allows somebody to come to your website with their telephone, can be iPhone or Android. You can see the phones here on the right-hand side. And without downloading any apps, they can just use their phone, their camera, and press one button on your website that says live preview. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the camera on their phone, okay, which is going to show the real room, the real wall, where the art will potentially go. And then it takes your piece in augmented reality and it projects it onto the wall. And you're able to move it around with your finger. You're able to size it up, size it down, take screenshots. And so is it going to look great in the room? What size do I need to get, right? And so again, this is attempting to solve for the visual friction of, I don't know if it's going to work in my room. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? It's just getting them one step closer to a buying decision, removing the friction from the process. And, I've been doing e-commerce marketing, digital marketing my entire life. Everyone loves to gravitate towards the wall preview or the live preview with AR. But the reality is when you do this for any period of time, it's not about one individual feature. It's about all the features working in conjunction, and you never know which one's going to end up, if we think of a sports analogy, like a basketball team, it's how many players you have on the court that can contribute, right, to eventually scoring that basket. And so it's why we do the demo process. We have literally hundreds and hundreds of features, all to remove the friction, all to help you get better at selling art and photography online. And when you request one of these things, our outreach team will reach out, have a conversation with you, and schedule it. It goes like an hour and 10 minutes, and we just go through feature after feature after feature. So it's not about any one of them. It's about all of them working in conjunction. Independent of that, let's keep working down the page. So we also have a ton of back-end software. It turns out running an art photography business, there's a ton of individual little nuance and things that can slow you down, okay? Things like uploading an image and how many images do you have to upload to your webpage for all the various different media sizes and types you have. It's very helpful to be able to just upload one, have all the sizes auto-populate for you and tell you exactly what you can sell. Things like markups. How do you set markups? Can you do it globally? Can you do it per media type, right? And so no one likes to talk about the back end features, but we have a slew of those as well, all there to make your life easier, to give you time back, okay? Let's talk about our fulfillment. And we love talking about this. This is in our company DNA pretty significantly, but I'll pull up a website. So we're on Bill Stidham's site. Or I should probably start here, actually. So we are integrated. Well, let me start here. You can have it any which way you like. If you're an artist that just does originals and you get orders, obviously you're going to be responsible for fulfilling the originals because you have them. If you're an artist that has a local printer or a photographer that has a local printer, you really like using your printer, you can use your printer. The orders come in, you send the order to your printer. We call that self-fulfillment, no problem. What we recommend our customers do, though, is integrate with one of our print partners, and I'll get into the reasons why. But we've got Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. We've got Bay Photo on the West Coast. We've got Print Partner for our customers in Canada. And then we just recently integrated with a company called Guten that handles the merchandise. And I'll get into that in a second. How does it work? You sign up. You get your site set up, which usually takes 14 days or less. You click a button. It says, I want to integrate with this print partner. An order comes into the website. The printer gets paid. You get paid. The order gets printed. The order gets boxed. Your logo goes on the side of the box. Boom, it ships to the customer. You touch absolutely nothing. There's nothing you have to touch, nothing you have to do. All happens automatically. And again, it's to give you back that amount of time. And, no one has time in today's day and age to be dealing with the admin, okay? Any time that you spend on the admin, by which I mean sending the order to your local printer, checking on the proof, sending tracking numbers, did it ship, any of that correspondence, all of that, if you're spending your time on that, is time you are not spending on your biggest problem, which is your marketing. So we really believe like streamlining sort of this drop shipping, print on demand, automated fulfillment is a very, very wise decision if you want to create successful artists and photographers. Now, just recently, this was probably like a month before Christmas, maybe, we integrated with a company called Guten. And what it allows our customers to do is sell merchandise of a myriad of different kinds. Hoodies, iPhone cases, tank tops. They can come in, adjust the image exactly how they want to see it. Maybe they want to tilt it depending on what case it is, and get iPhone cases and, a number of different other items. We've got throw pillows and I clicked out of it, and coffee mugs, and we're adding more and more and more and more of these. And on the subject of merch, we realize, again, if you go back to our original mission, why we exist, we need to create a set of circumstances, a set of conditions such that the artist, the photographer can make and grow as successful a business as they want. And so some artists look at this merch and they're like, they turn their noses up at it and like, that's not fine art. Why would I ever want to do that? Some are like, I'm all in, I love it. We don't care. Our job is to provide as many different opportunities for artists and photographers to be successful as possible. And we've been totally blown away by how much of this stuff actually, believe it or not, sells. And some of it is higher margin than you would think. Like a throw pillow is $44. And what does a tote bag cost? I think a tote bag costs $38. So sell it or not, you have every opportunity imaginable available to you. If you want to have it all, in kind of like Bill does here on his site, where you have your fine art media types across the top, and then you have the merch all in one product page, great. If you want to have individual items in the store, you want to have your artwork, fine, and then you just want to have a line of phone cases. If you want to have one for a couple of weeks and then turn it off, you can do any and all of that, and it's one click to turn it on at any point in time. It's automated. It's completely automated in terms of fulfillment, and that's not going to change. And we realize, again, like, artists and photographers are essentially just creators, right? You're just creators, and you have a talent. You have a talent with a brush, or you have a talent with the lens. You want to monetize that talent, okay? So again, our job is to give you as many different opportunities to be able to monetize that talent as possible. So that's how we go about it. And again, it's a debate about when to use it or when not. But somebody on one of these sessions earlier was like, who's the greatest rock band of all time? I was like, no, who? He's like, the Rolling Stones. He goes, guess what the Rolling Stones have at their concerts? I said, what? A giant booth for merch. He's like, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of it a year. If the Stones sell it, I'll sell it. So anyway, I thought that kind of stuck with me. It was fun. So that's our print fulfillment. And I should say too that we're adding calendars, and we're adding puzzles, and we are adding photo books. And to be honest with you, if they come out with a line of hot air balloons, we'll add hot air balloons too, right? Because again, it's creating a set of circumstances such that the artist and photographer can be successful. We don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if Brian gets into business and he's the #1 iPhone selling case guy of the entire United States. He's got a successful business, right? So not for us to decide. Support. We believe we have best-in-class support. If you took a look at our Facebook ads and you scrolled through the 350 of them, you'll see more positive responses for the support than just about anything else. We're very, very good at this. Yes, it's in all the venues you think it is: email, phone, chat support. But in addition to that, kind of what I'm most proud about is we run 6 days a week, including Saturdays, Zoom sessions, just like the one you're on right now, okay? And you can pop into one at any point in time with any support-related issue and get fixed, get unstuck. There's screen shares. They can take over control of your computer and just get you sorted instantaneously. So we're very, very good at it. Not only do we support our application, we ask you guys, we teach you guys marketing all year long, and which I'll get into in a second. What if you're having a problem with Facebook or with Instagram or with MailChimp or with your Facebook ads? We actually support that too. You can pop into a Zoom session and say, hey, Patrick, I'm stuck on my Facebook ads. I'm getting this message. Can you help me? And our team will get you unstuck. That's an amazing thing. There's not many companies that do that. So I'm very, very proud about that. That's in terms of the overall website picture. And we essentially do all of that, okay, to give you your time back such that you can work on the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom call has, which is their marketing problem. You need to get better at it. And let me tell you, I've got 4,700 customers, and there's only one universal truth about every one of them, right? Every niche imaginable, every subject matter, all over this country and others, every one of them has a marketing problem. The person that just past $500,000 a year in sales has a marketing problem. They want to grow that business, they have a marketing problem. The person that just is getting started, sold their first piece, they have a marketing problem, and everybody in between, right? It is the biggest problem. And so, we want to create successful customers. We realize we need to teach artists and photographers how to market. And so how did we solve for that particular problem? We created collectively what might as well be called the Art Business University. That's how we look at it, because I'm not sure there's a better term to explain it. One, we have the best digital education that exists in terms of selling art and photography online, full stop. I'm hang my hat on this. We have detailed documentation that we call Playbooks on every marketing facet imaginable. How to run an email campaign, how to run a Black Friday sale, how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time with your laptop on a cell phone. Detailed, step-by-step, audio, video, screenshot documentation. If we're asking you to send emails, we will give you the email copy. You just adjust it to taste for what you're doing. So the playbooks are incredible. They're very robust, and they're very focused on teaching you how to market. We pair that with a 365-day-a-year marketing calendar, okay? It has on it beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You take on what you can take on. You're never not knowing what you need to be doing on a week in, week out basis. You start doing, first, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I've never done this. This is crazy. How am I going to survive? And then you fight through it, and you got through the beginner level, and then you take on the intermediate, and then you take on the advanced. The majority of our customers follow this doggone near verbatim year in, year out, because it works. It's effective. Not only does it tell you what to do, but it solves for one of the other greatest pandemic of our lifetime, the shiny object syndrome, okay? Not only does the calendar tell you what to do, it tells you what not to do, okay? What not to be spending your time on, right? And how do I know this? One, I'm very good at digital marketing. Two, we have 4,700 customers, and I get to see all of their data. I can tell everyone on this call conclusively, out of the 4,700 customers that I have not seen anyone turn a positive ROI on marketing on Pinterest. No one is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to tell you, you don't have to worry about Pinterest. I see you laughing, Mary. I do not want you spending any time on Pinterest, period. Waste of time. So too with SEO, okay? So the calendar is equally powerful on what you need to focus on is what you ignore, okay? It's what you ignore, and that's a big deal. Number 3 of the Art Business University is what we call office hours, okay? We take the entire customer base, we split it into 3. Until you sell $2,000 directly on your website, you're in the traction group. And after you sold $2,000 on your website, you're in the ramping group. After you sold a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you get in the advanced group, which we call growth. We hold week in, week out, every single solitary week, and we took 1 week off for New Year's, but essentially 48, 49 weeks a year. Zoom calls like this. You come on a weekly basis. It's either me or members of my team. We go over the playbooks. We go over the calendars. We talk about wins. How somebody landed an interior decorator and sold $35,000 worth. They're going to come on and tell their story. Not only are they going to come on and tell their story, they're going to say, here's the email that did it. Here's the copy. Here's the Facebook post. And you can go and look at that stuff, right? And you're learning in concert with your peers. Digital online education is not enough. Okay. If you look at the stats out there, I don't care who it is, Kajabi or Masterclass or lynda.com, 30% of the people that buy those courses actually finish them. So we can't just have digital education. We have to have in-person teaching sessions, and everyone knows how to Zoom now. It's our new reality. So those sessions, which we started I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of the pandemic, have been the single solitary biggest fundamental change to our business we've ever had. If before the pandemic, I had 100 customers, and I told those 100 customers via email, guys, Black Friday's coming. You got to get going on your sale. Here's the playbook, right? And then I recorded a podcast episode, and I was like, we're going to do this. 35 out of the 100 would take action. After these video sessions where I'm able to go through things, people are able to ask their questions, raise their hands, get unstuck, learn your peers. I have 75 people taking action on that sale, and it's fundamentally changing the business. It is making our customers more successful, more accountable, actually staying focused. Like, look, you guys are all solopreneurs for the most part. I mean, we could pull this entire group, and not a lot of you guys have a big team. You don't have an office behind you where you're yelling at an intern to help you out. You are a solopreneur, okay? You know, myself, the CEO, we've been entrepreneurs our entire life. I know it's a roller coaster. I know there's highs and the lows. When you're on those lows, you need a kick in the pants, right? You need to be lifted up sometimes, and that's what these Zoom sessions do too, which is incredible. We follow it up with a Facebook group that is highly curated. Okay. There's no trolls. There's no nonsense in there, right? You've seen some of the other groups out there online and how ridiculous it gets in those things. And artists are sharing with other artists, photographers are sharing with other photographers, the people that are in the landscape niche are talking to others in the landscape niche. Hey guys, what do you think of this new direction? What did you use in terms of pricing? They're publishing their wins. And so sometimes you can't just hear it from us, the official company mouthpiece. And so it's nice to have a whole bunch of people that are doing this same journey at the same time, helping each other out, sharing, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? So that collectively is the Art Business University. And it's like a college. I mean, it really is. And the difference is you pay your tuition, you come in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, right? And in addition to that, it never will stop. In today's digital marketing landscape, the goalposts are just constantly moving, right? Like so quickly, you feel like you just learned something and it moves over here. So we keep you up to date with all of that. As a final, about 6 months ago, or maybe 5 months ago now, we started an in-house marketing agency. And it's an in-house marketing agency that only does one thing. It helps artists and photographers sell more art online and off. And we believe already, as of today's date, it's the biggest sole-focused art and photography marketing agency in the world. And that's not hyperbole. I've been asking on these calls, can someone name me an agency that specializes only in helping artists and photographers sell their work? I haven't found one. No one's ever put one in the chat for me, especially not a big one. Why? Because my aforementioned point, selling art and photography is not like selling swim thins or ladies' handbags or scooters. It's hard, right? It's really hard. And we're good at it because we've been working at it for a long time. Also, I get upset, right? Because I look at all of you guys as like, you own a McDonald's, right? And if you owned a McDonald's, you have to know how to do the ordering. You have to know how to clean the floors. You have to know how to open the building. You have to know how to operate the drive-through window. You have to be able to flip burgers and fries and do all of that and do the ordering, right? Like it's your business. You need to understand those things. But at the same time, I'm not naive in the sense that 80% of our customers still have full-time jobs or in some capacity. Maybe they're service-based photographers and they're trying to sell their fine art. So I get it. You need to be able to have the ability, if you don't have the time to do the marketing and you have the resources, you need a la carte things that you can jump off the shelf. Hey guys, I need my Instagram profile tuned up. I need my Facebook page tuned up. I need to help with a sales campaign. You need to be able to do that sometimes. In addition to things like, we'll completely build your website for you. You don't want to do that. You hate building websites. Your fears in life, in order, are death, taxes, and building another website. I get that, right? So you can drop your images in a folder, tell us to build the site, we'll build the site for you, okay? We'll manage your Facebook ads, okay? We will manage all of your social posting. And again, it goes back to the top premise. Like, our job is to create successful customers. And so we looked at it 6 months ago and it's like, we need to have an agency. And then some people are like, well, I want to do it myself. Fantastic. Our job is to have the best DIY product, do it yourself, learn, come on the sessions, and then also have an agency where you can pay. And again, it's a la carte or it's, up to almost full service. And the amazing thing about it is, I've been doing marketing a long time, right? What do all marketers love? A case study. Oh, we love a case study, right? With the sexy data about this huge win, and we publish it on social media and we use it for lead generation. So totally did that all the time. Okay. Guilty, and if you lose, you don't publish it, right? You wait till you hit a winner and do all that. But it used to be, I would go and run a case study with a customer and, I'd have limited bandwidth to do that. And then we would build the playbooks. Well, guess what I have now? I've got agency staff. I've got one guy that all he does all day long is spruce up Instagram pages for artists and photographers. He did 65 of them last week, or probably 65 last month. So imagine the learnings that we're getting. What happens is the learnings are going right back into the playbooks, and then they're coming onto the Zoom sessions and they're teaching, and we've got a little flywheel going on, right? We've got a little artist and photographer education flywheel. So it doesn't matter if you ever order a single solitary service from the agency, and we don't even care if the agency ever makes any money, in all honesty, because all it does is just improves the product, makes more successful customers, and helps us grow. So we really, at the end of the day, are fundamentally a business that can be thought of as a rowboat, right? It takes our oar, your oar, we jump in the boat in the same time, and if we can get that thing rowing in the same direction, the faster we can get that going, the better everybody does. So that's Art Storefronts in a nutshell. That's my presentation.
See? You thought we were one kind of company and we're actually a rowboat. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my green screen issue. Let me see if this fixes that. Boo, Zoom. I was in a cool hotel lobby or living room or something. Let's see if we can get this going. Sorry, guys. I'll figure out how to fix it in a second. Anyway, that's a pretty good high level example of who we are, what we do, what all we're focused on. I should say that, you know, we're all of us living through some pretty extraordinary times. You know, I don't think there's a person that would say that's not the case with this pandemic, as crazy as it's been. But it's also created, for lack of a better term, sort of a, you know, a windfall for art and photography sales. And, you know, I think I should probably just highlight that quickly. But you have the fact that 10 years of normal growth of e-commerce penetration. What do I mean? The total percentage of commerce is taking place via e-commerce versus retail. You know, that was on a steady increase. 10 years of growth got shrunk down into like 4 months, and those appear to be habits that are not going away. You have the fact that people are fleeing the cities in large measure into bigger and larger homes. Home sales at the highest they've been just about ever. You have the fact that the economy was quite strong before the lockdowns took place. Yes, I know it's hurting people. It's hurting a lot of people, but those are not the people that traditionally buy a lot of art. Let's just be honest. It's reality. You have the fact that home decor, the fact that people are staying home, they're not going to the office, they're working in their home office, they're finally upset enough with their white walls to do something about it, making a tremendous impact. Everything in the home decor segment is absolutely exploded. Doesn't matter if you look at Etsy's quarterly filings, Wayfair, Sonos, anything that's sold in the home is exploding. Then you have all of that happening, all of those situations taking place. And then let's talk about the fact, okay, where can you buy art? Where can you buy photography? All of the galleries are all pretty much closed. Like I said, this used to be up here. Those are done, right? The fairs and shows, everyone's terrified of any mass gathering. So those are going down. Those are going down. And so really, you know, you're left with the online galleries, which have their own problems, and buying directly from the artist. And it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. You know, things have been bad in the US for a while. In Europe, it feels like it's getting worse and worse and worse by the minute. And so, you know, all of the situations, the circumstances that led to a really crazy situation for art and photography, especially of Q4 last year. And my green screen background is really annoying me. I'm going to try one more time. Bear with me. That's what happens with this technology. Boo! Boo! It's halfway there now. Unbelievable. Lame. Anyway, between those two things, you have a scenario where it's like, okay, the facts on the ground remain the same. People are still spending more time at home. Home sales through the roof, e-commerce adoption going crazy, and then nowhere else to buy the art. So, you know, you don't have to get a whole lot right in this particular environment other than, yes, I'm selling. Oh, there it goes. Hey, there we go. Worked it out. Yes. Now I'm back in someone else's living room. You have to sell direct. Okay. In today's day and age, you have to. And I don't care if you ever sign up with us. You have to have your own website and you have to sell direct. You have to be gathering data on your customers, email addresses, fans, followers, all of that. And you need to market in perpetuity. You do that, you have an ability to sell your art direct. You have no hands in your operation. You're taking 100% of that income, and it's awesome. It represents one of the most phenomenal opportunities for artists and photographers ever. Not rosy situation, though. You have to do the damn marketing, and there's no getting away with doing the damn marketing. So that's a huge part of it. So at that point, I will open it up for questions. You can raise your hand. There's like a little participants button at the bottom of Zoom, and down there it'll let you digitally raise your hand. You can see John's figured it out. He's just done it. If you want to raise your hand old school and your camera's on, I will of course get that. If you want to leave something for me in the chat, I will get to all of those. Okay, Emily, I'll proverbially raise your hand too. And if you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on. Audio is all good. I hate being on camera. Totally get that. And then if you're watching on any of the socials, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, you can leave a comment there, and I will deal with those too. But John, you're up first today. Go ahead, John.
I was wondering what is the percentage that the artist gets from prints, merch, etc.?
It depends on the plan. You know, we have what are called transaction fees, and I know there's a sliding scale on them. I think at the highest they're 10%, and then they go down from there depending on what plan you're on. So you keep everything else.
Okay, 10% for the provider or 10% for the artist?
No, 10% for us, 90% for you.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I'm gonna get Bartley next. Oh, hold on. Things are bouncing around. Okay, Bartley, you're up next.
Hey there, how you doing today?
Your beard game is on point, brother. That thing is fantastic.
Thanks. I am curious. I'm a long-time artist, but I have a hard time committing. I just don't want to make mistakes. Do you guys have like an email handbook that you could share with us to uh, for the ground up, how to even get considered to be uh, part of your service? Like, so I have a home-based business that I've really not invested as much in as I'd like to because I just don't know where to start.
Okay.
And I don't want to be making costly mistakes.
Yep. We've made plenty of those, so we can certainly warn you off that. Let's start at the very, very top. Have you sold your art? Are you an artist or photographer?
I'm an artist.
Okay. Have you sold your art to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, best friends?
Only 2 pieces, but yeah.
Only 2 pieces. Okay, so that's where you got to start. Like the very first step, the very early on step is you got to determine that you have a product the market wants, and there's absolutely no shortcut to that whatsoever. Pre-pandemic, depending on where you live, I would have said the easiest way to do that is get a bunch of pieces together, figure out somewhere cheap to get a booth. Doesn't matter if it's a farmer's market or an actual art fair, whatever else. Sit in that booth for an 8-hour shift and see whether or not someone you do not know buys that product. If they buy the product, then at a point you've reached what we call validation, which means you have a product that the market wants. At that point, it just becomes a marketing game, right? The danger, though, is in saying, okay, I'm not going to do that step, and I'm going to go spend a bunch of money on a website, and I'm going to put a website up, and I'm going to try selling my work, and crickets, right? Because then you just wasted a bunch of time. So you got to cross that hurdle. Now, depending on where you live, finding an outdoor venue where people can walk in, it might be a little challenging, right? So in that capacity, we have sort of a playbook for how you can do it with the live art show concept, nothing more than your cell phone and your social media sites, and just be like, what's up, guys? It's Bartley. This pandemic sucks. I've decided to launch my art business. Here's how we're going to do it. Show off your pieces, talk about them one by one, no reasonable offers refused. And by the way, I got PayPal, I got Venmo, hit me up, right? Do a couple of those and see if you can't get some sales going. It's not to say early on for a little momentum, a little spark. You can't lean on friends and family, right, to get the ball rolling. And they'll certainly like, comment, and share on things. But you got to validate your work first and foremost, because you don't know if you don't know, right?
Yeah.
You got to find out. Okay. So that's the number one mistake, and Bartley, for you, that's the only mistake you can't make. Got to validate.
All right. Thanks.
Cool. Okay. Althea is asking, hi, what's the cost of the membership and the different packages? So, we're not like a website company at all, but we're like a website company in the sense that we charge a monthly fee. The other thing, the Art Business University, you essentially pay tuition to get into a college where there's no graduates. The learning never stops. Why? Because the goalposts are constantly moving in marketing land, right? So that's what makes us a little bit different. The cheapest plan to get into the, university, which is the easiest way to think about it, is $1,000, and I think $49 or $59 a month, something like that. But it's why we do the demo process, Althea. What happens is you request a demo, someone from the outreach team calls you. It's like a 10 to 15 minute call. You can ask about all the packages. They have all the numbers, all the detail. And then if you like what you hear, you can go and schedule the demo. Otherwise, they'll never call you again. They're not the harassy, pushy types. So that's how we do it. But again, we do that. There's a lot of website solutions out there, right? Some are free. You get a WordPress site for free, or you can pay for Squarespace or Shopify or any of the rest of them. But guess what? It's not going to create a successful artist or photographer. There's stats from Shopify, and it's not a knock on Shopify. We love them. That close to 99% of Shopify store owners fail. Why? Because none of those people had a website problem, okay? All of those people were like Bartley. They hadn't tried to sell something first, and instead they went and got a website, and they paid their $39, $49 a month. They did no marketing, and they failed. We want successful customers. The only way to do that is the continuing marketing education. You don't have that, you don't create successful customers. So Katie's asking, I love this question. My biggest concern is print quality. What printer do you collaborate with? I'd like to see what materials and technology they use. So we're integrated with 2. One is Bay Photo on the West Coast. The other one is Graphic Dimension on the East Coast. But this is an absolutely unfounded concern, Katie. Both Bay Photo and Graphic Dimension, any of the big printers that are spread across this world, or even some of the mid-sized to smaller ones, They're all using the same color calibration devices to calibrate their screens. They are all using the exact same printers from the exact same companies, the exact same inks, and the exact same media types. And so it's an unfortunate way to say printing has become a commodity. Okay. The only difference you get from one printer to another printer is service, right? That's it. Everything else, like in terms of the results, they come out, no one can tell the difference between the two in the slightest. Printing's become an automated type of a situation. There's not a craft to it anymore, really. Aside from a few areas, printers get pissed when I say that, but it's truth. So you have zero concerns to worry about that in the slightest. They all use the best of everything, every media type imaginable, and you can obviously order samples. You can even use one of our printers to order samples if you want, and take the Pepsi challenge for yourself if you like. So my point is you do not need to worry about printing in the slightest. What else? Okay, some membership questions. Oh yeah, Emily, I forgot. Okay, you're up next. Go ahead.
Thanks so much. I feel like we know each other. I get so many emails from you.
Oh, are we relentless? We are the
I'm really
worst.
happy because I need that.
We're the worst. I'm embarrassed by it, to be honest with you.
I graduated art school in 2006, and I've been doing online prints. I've tried Zazzle, and another one I do is Fine Art America.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the tools. I just got my files back, so I can make more large files, more art. I have too many styles. It's just been too overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
My question for you is, what I've been doing is sharing my fine art website on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is that people either don't see it. It's buried by the algorithm because I don't pay to play for Mark Zuckerberg, who took all my art pages down because I have fine art nudes and they think it's pornography. So I'm being censored by the man. And then my art is too good that they think it's actually a real photo of a human instead of art.
Yeah.
So my question is, what platforms do you recommend to widen my base audience so that I won't get censored and that I can get the right kind of clients at the fine art website?
Okay, so a couple different questions. One, I mean, Fine Art America is a disaster, but it's a disaster in the sense that one, the rules can change at any point in time. Two, very few people actually do well at it at all. Three, you don't get to keep any of your customer data. Four, Facebook doesn't like it when it's linked there, and they're just as soon to leave your Fine Art America profile and go to someone else's. So, which is not to say we're not anti any revenue source that's working, right? Like if you have Fine Art America, yeah, you get way sick of it. Just to let you know, I've done a tremendous amount of Facebook marketing, and this is a funny story. It'll make you feel better, so I'll tell it. A buddy of mine just wrote a novel. Okay, he's been working on it for 10 years. It's actually really good. And I helped him get set up with his Facebook ads, and the book is set in like the desert. Okay. And there is a woman on the front cover in a full hijab. Okay. Only her eyes are showing. And Facebook banned that one for pornography. His first couple ads banned for pornography. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they do.
Or maybe they thought they're just being racist, anti-Muslim.
No, they're not being racist. It's just the algorithm.
But I did make a sale, but it was to someone who knows me in real life.
Yeah.
And happened to see the post that day, and it wasn't put at the bottom of her algorithm for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is like Twitter anything?
No, they're all disasters. But you have to be pragmatic. You have to be pragmatic about it.
Auction, have the fine art page a link, and do like a live auction with my art pieces, show them the actual print, what it looks like when they get it, that kind of thing. I really like that advice, and I have been meaning to do that, but
yeah, it's really important, the merchandising.
But I have plenty of friends and resources, and I'm really glad I made it to this seminar today. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, Emily, you still have to market on Facebook and Instagram. There's that's not going away anytime soon. You have to be pragmatic.
I'm willing to pay, for them not to bury my algorithm, but to keep getting censored and flagged. It's just like going uphill like Sisyphus.
Sisyphus. Love Sisyphus. Yeah. You know, they have all the attention. The currency in today's day and age is attention, just full stop, right? If you have it, you can do anything. Without it, you can do barely anything. And so they have all the attention as it stands right now. So you need to market on both of them. It's very important. Yes, there's a way to pay to play on those sites.
Nudes, maybe don't have that
Yep.
as your main picture.
Yep.
So
Yep.
They don't
Yep.
censor your awesome titties. Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I think that answered my question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's just they have the attention. We need the attention. Everyone needs the attention, and so we have to market on their sites. That means you got to play by their rules, which is very important. And I get what you're saying, that you had a lot of attention there, and they took it all away. But that's Facebook's rules, right? You have to know what their tune is, and then you have to sort of dance with it a little bit. We teach that all year long, and look, there's nothing that I like about any of them. I don't like what they stand for. I don't like what they do, but I'm also contrarian. I realize that they have all the attention. I need it. So my job is to get on there and siphon off as much of it for myself and my businesses as I can, and that's what I do. And you know what? The minute that either of the two of them go down in smoke, I will show up for the. I will. Charlie Chaplin said this. I will not attend the funeral, but I will send a note saying I approved. As soon as they go down, I shouldn't say that because I'm streaming on them, but that's what I would say, because I don't really care for a lot of the policies that they have. But we'll see about that. Cracky's saying, where do I go to sign up for the lowest participation level to get started? To do that, you would just request a demo. Not really a computer guy. That's okay. You don't have to be a super computer guy. You do a little bit. Photoshop Lightroom basics. Yeah, we don't really help with the Photoshop Lightroom basics, but I know someone that does. Google. Let me go Google that for you. You can get a Photoshop or Lightroom basic tutorial in 2 seconds, Cracky, and figure out what you need to do with your images, which is not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. But yeah, it's a Monday. I feel like you guys aren't very inquisitive. You guys aren't pushing my buttons today. Kind of like that. It's a good way to start the week off. What about you, Phyllis? You're smiling. You have questions? I gotta unmute you. Hold on. I'll unmute you. I'll unmute you. You have to hit your microphone in the bottom left-hand corner, Phyllis. It's like a tiny little mic icon, and I'll let you know when you get it. Bottom left-hand corner of the black Zoom window, and it'll be like a little microphone with the words mute. Yep, gotcha.
Got me?
Gotcha.
All right, yeah, always smiling. So I'm really interested. I'm an interior decorator, graduated from art school a long time ago, and just trying to figure out now, I feel like shifting over to my art now that we've had a nice year of not having to go crazy on decorating and travel all over the place for clients.
Yes.
So I have a lot of artwork. I just wasn't sure what the criteria for the artwork was, and how is that judged?
So here's how we judge it. Will this artwork sell? Yes, it's selling. Criteria satisfied. Done. We have zero we have zero criteria other than the fact that it's tasteful and it doesn't straddle that line too closely. But that's an easy one to ask. You already know the answer to that. That's number one. Number two, starting the year off with a broken arm is no way to start a year off, period. So sorry about that.
Torn rotator cuff, so I can't use my right hand, can't paint. So I'm trying to be purposeful with my time.
Understood.
And everything happens for a reason. I think maybe being able to sit back and not be so busy has helped me prioritize what I would like to do.
Yeah. And you're the double threat. At least once a week and probably twice a week, I get a question along the lines of, I have really high price points and really elegant work. All I really care about is how do I get my work in front of interior designers? What playbooks do you have to do that? So you could answer that question for all of us. How do we get your attention, Phyllis, with our art to an interior designer? How often do you get pitched?
It's very, very particular to each person.
Yes.
Art is very hard to come by. And I'm going to tell you, for instance, I just finished a funeral home a year ago, with a huge, elegant funeral home, which sounds really weird, but when it came to buy the artwork for it, you know what he said? Go to Home Goods.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So
I went to Home Goods and I took pictures of giraffes and elephants with flowers on their hair. I'm like, is this what you want? So I mean, it's really a hard sell. Art is tough.
It is.
Sell, as you've said, so yourself. It's extremely particular, and people we'll spend a lot of money on crazy little things, but then it comes to the artwork, it's really hard to convince them that they need to purchase something worthwhile.
Yes.
So it is a hard sell.
Yes, it is. And the flip side of the coin is like everybody that comes on here that's never done any marketing all says the same thing. Everybody's, I just want to market to the high net worth individuals. Problem with that is that every business in the world, aside from the 99-cent stores, only want to market to high net worth individuals for the most part, right? And so by virtue of the fact that everybody wants to do something, that makes it very difficult. Yeah. So the point is, everyone always asks me, like, how do you market to interior designers, right? And I say, you don't. And there's a reason you don't. Everyone's followers are bell curve, okay? I do this every time, but it's important. You have the lower class, I'm just talking about socioeconomic status. Lower class, lower middle, upper middle, high net worth individuals, let's just say, the bell curve. Everyone's followers follow that graph. And at the low end, you get a bunch of people that are going to like and comment and share, but probably not buy anything unless you have like greeting cards or something. At the high end, you get the people that'll buy, your $15,000 original, your $30,000 original. And then in the middle, you get the normal distribution. And what you do when you start marketing is that bell curve just goes up, 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 up. It captures more people. And so you close more deals as a result of that. That's one way to market. You're just going to market generally, do it all correctly. And, your bell curve is just going to go up like that. And you're going to capture more and more and more. Or you could spend all of your energy going after interior designers, right? So how would I do that? I would send 50 direct messages on Instagram to interior designers based on hashtags that I like a day. That's the limit on Instagram. Then I would go on to Houzz, Houzz, and I would send all of those interior designers messages all day, 50 a day, 100 a day, until Houzz shuts me down. I would do that all day for 3 years. At that point, I would probably have a decent amount of business with interior designers, but the ROI of all of those efforts just going after the interior designers would not match the ROI of marketing generally, doing a very good job of it, and letting the bell curve just shake out where it shakes out. We have, we always, in our private Facebook group, people post, we call it small wins. We try to like keep the energy levels up. And so it's like, if you land a good sale, please post it in there. So like 2 months ago, some gal posted, just landed my biggest sale ever, to an interior decorator, interior designer, 12 pieces, something like that, $35,000. And everyone's like, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? How'd you do it? Cause that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And she's like, I post on Instagram a whole bunch, and the interior designer's daughter had been following me for a year and a half, really liked the work, and then told her mom. It's like, okay, how are you going to go repeat that one? Go repeat that one then, right? You just work on your marketing. The highest ROI thing you can do is work on your marketing and be good at it. When you do, people come from all kinds of different angles. Yes, the high net worth individuals. Yes, the interior designers. And then yes, the low end people that just like, comment, and share. And that's the game. And that's how it goes. But yeah, heal that thing up, Phyllis. But with your smiley face and attitude, I think it's gonna be quick.
Yeah, well, this is a good time for me to sit and learn.
Good.
Because I can't really do anything else. I sit in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, so I'm an avid skier, and so this is I have about 5 months.
Tough winter.
Here and absorb and learn, and I think it's a good time to start. I did get a call from a salesperson.
Okay.
I missed it because I was out, but I've called them back twice and haven't really heard anything.
We'll follow up. April, will you follow up and find out who it is and say, 1, call Phyllis immediately. 2, better be extra nice as a result of a rotator cuff injury, and we'll get it done. We'll make sure whoever it is calls you back, Phyllis.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. So Ron's asking what average number of customers each person has on your platform, and of that average, what percentage of repeat customers buy one piece multiple times than 3? I love that. I totally love that. And a couple of things. I got to come at that a couple of ways. 1, I love that question because there's only 3 ways to grow a business, right? 3. That's it. 1, new customers. How do we measure that? We measure that by new sales, right? Sales to first-time customers. And that's the one that 99% of businesses focus on all the time. How can I get more customers, more customers, more customers, more customers? Number 2, AOV, average order value, which means how can you build a business? Number 2, you get more in terms of purchase price out of the new customer that you do have. The famous way to think of this, you go into a McDonald's to order a burger, they say, do you want fries with that? Or at least they did 20 years ago. And that was a way that they would take a $5 order and turn it into a $6.50 order, right? AOV. The third is get repeat business out of existing clients. And I love that you're asking the question, Ron, at least in that framing, because no one ever talks about 2 and 3. Everyone always just talks about number 1. So we have a whole bunch of different ways that we focus on all 3 of those. I've seen too over the course, I've been doing this for 6 years, I think. And before that, I was in the art industry in some various other capacities. One of the most important things an artist or photographer can do are gather collectors. Okay. And what is a collector? A collector is someone that will buy multiple pieces of art from you over their lifetimes. And Weiland's got this book called Don't Be a Starving Artist. Really good book. He only sells it on his website, though. It's not on Amazon, which kind of sucks. But he says an average collector for him is like 6 to 8 pieces, or maybe 9 pieces, I think, over his career. So anyone that's in that boat, he calls a collector. And what's amazing about these folks is they stay with you your whole career. So as you get bigger and better and your prices go up, they just go right along for the ride. And, I see this with a number of artists that I work with. It's like every new show, there's an email that goes to the collectors, and then there's an email that goes to everyone else. And the collectors end up buying a bunch of it, always, every time. And so you can't be gathering collectors if you're not keeping the data, which is why it sucks when you're in a gallery, and it sucks when you're in an online gallery, because you don't know who your doggone collectors are and you can't keep in touch with them. So that's another one. But trying to compare what the average number of customers for each person, it's a fool's errand, because we have such a diverse customer base. That's number 1. Number 2, my wife has a PhD in statistics. I could ask her to extrapolate all the customer data and try to figure out what that number is. By the time you got done dropping the highs and the lows and the averages, even then I'm not sure it would make sense. But the difficulty in that question, Ron, is you're attempting to compare your beginning, middle to someone else's late stage, middle, beginning. It's a fool's errand. You got to just do you and be you. There's not any secret size. There's not any secret media type. There's not any secret pricing. There's not any secret subject material. We've seen everything across the board both work and fail miserably. And, the right recipe is more important who the artist and what their brand is a lot of times than whether or not you have the right pricing and the right media type. And that's sort of the beauty of art and photography, is that, the pricing is completely arbitrary, right? No one can comparison shop Phyllis's work versus Tim's work versus John's work. It's completely different. They can set prices however they see fit, and there's no comparison because there's only one John Lasonia, there's only one Phyllis Tracy, and there's only one Tim Green. So that's how I'd answer that question. Yeah. So Jill's asking, how does art storefronts help to find our niche? Wonderful question. The niche question is one that comes up more often than anything else. A lot of times, and I have to answer this a couple of times, is a couple of different ways. Is one, you're not married to a niche. Okay. No one's married to a niche. There's no need to be married to a niche. There's no need to pick a hill to die on. Everyone likes to do that. I cite this statistic all the time, and I love it. Picasso, when he died, a little fun fact on the side, he refused to do a will ever because he's like, in his mind, that was bad juju or whatever. And so when he died, he had 45,000 unsold works in his collection. And the 45,000 works were then squabbled about between his heirs and his illegitimate heirs, and that was a big mess. But the point is that he was constantly trying new things, Jill. He was constantly trying new directions. Some of them sold, some of them didn't. He didn't care, and he had a whole bunch of different styles throughout his career. And that's the most important thing. Like, look, everyone can launch with whatever they launch with. And more often than not with artists and photographers, it's the thing that you're passionate about. It's the thing that you love to do. But a lot of times you've never seen whether or not the market loves what you do. Like, if you're painting flowers, that's wonderful, but the world does not need any more damn paintings of flowers, okay? I'm sorry. There's 10 million different examples of that, and it's not unique, and there's not enough buyers for what is even being created. So a lot of times you start with something like that, and then you start trying some different directions, some different ideas. One of them does better than the other. You go all in on the one that does the best. And I think as part of a robust and intelligent career as an artist and photographer, you're trying new looks, new subject materials, new niches. And when you're just getting started, Jill, and you have a couple of niches, you throw it all up, you start in on your marketing, you don't stop marketing for a year, you look back at the year, and what you usually find is an 80-20. 20% of the work generated 80% of your revenue. And you say, okay, at that point, I think this is my niche. This is what I'm going to go forward with. So that's what I would say. And yes, Ron saying he believes in referral business to sustain a business. Yeah, I absolutely believe in referral business to sustain a business too. But the only way you create referral business is being very good at your marketing and doing so consistently and providing an awesome service. So that's what I would say on that. And AOV is critically important, average order value. Like, you work on that. That's a massive lever. But, most of you guys will just be getting started. You don't have a huge email list. You don't have a tremendous amount of Facebook followers or Instagram fans or attention that you own. And so you're asking the question, Ron, you really believe in referral business? Okay. I really believe in getting new customers. So Ron has 10 customers and he's working on his referral business and he's working on his average order value. And I'm over here working all year to get 10,000 customers. Once you have 10,000 customers, then it gets real when you're talking about referral, and then it gets real when you're talking about average order value. So in the beginning, you absolutely have a build up enough attention such that you actually have a sustainable business. Then you worry about the various different other aspects. It's all about focus, right? You have a limited amount of time. We all do. And where you focus at what point in time differentiates the winners from the losers. How it goes in any business, but especially art. Yeah. I feel like I was on a rant there. I don't know where I was going. Questions, comments? Anyone else on the socials? Just a quiet time. Oh, Phyllis is back. I like it. All right, go ahead, Phyllis. Hold on. You got to get the mic again. I'll let you know when you. It's bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom with your mouse. I'll tell you when you get it. Don't have it yet.
Got it.
Yep, gotcha.
All right. Do you help with the pricing?
Oh yes, all day.
You do.
All day. We have recommended markups, which are 250%, which you can flick a switch and turn it on site-wide globally. But one of the primary, call it, well, a couple of things. One, as common as like the cold or the flu, is artists underpricing their work. Real problem out there. I don't have the confidence to charge my certain prices, or it's not worth that. There's a lot of just junk in there, right? And so the 250% markup solves for a lot of that. That's number one. Number two, we rely quite heavily on incentives. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. And so, to create incentive, and this is another one of these things that drives me nuts. Like, I will never offer a discount. It cheapens the work. Who told you that, right? Who told you that? There's only two companies that I'm aware of, okay, that never discount. It's Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. I don't know of another one that doesn't. Those are the only two that never run a sale, ever. Full stop. And guess what? Louis Vuitton is now in acquisition talks to get Tiffany's. That will be the only time that those people negotiate or discount ever. Other than that, it's going to be back to the status quo. But, to get human beings to take action, you need to have an incentive, some sort of a discount, and you need to have scarcity when the discount ends. Sooner you understand that, the better position you're going to be. Everyone has sales. And so we have sales a lot. So when you have a 250% markup and you knock 15% off, you're still in a pretty good spot, right? And so we do the 250% markup just across the board, but sometimes even higher than that. And, pricing is one of those things that everyone gets so emotionally involved in, but guess what? It's a reversible decision. Like, this week, Phyllis, we're going to mark your stuff up to 450%. We're going to see how we do, right? If you get angry people with pitchforks in the New Hampshire cold on your driveway, we'll go ahead and lower it down to 250% again. No one will be the wiser. It's okay, right? So, yeah, that's how we approach it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, so Jill's saying if you know or already have a very unique style painting, but have no idea how to find the market, right? So if a great way to think about this, Jill, and I'm making assumptions, but how would you define your style, right? And you come up with some sort of word for it. And you go and put it in Google and there's no results, then you're not going to have people naturally, organically searching for your art. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. You have to start marketing it, right? You have to get a website up, get your socials up, start posting, start marketing it in all those various different ways, and you'll figure it out. It's the same for everybody. Like, if the images are awesome and you work on your marketing and you do so consistently, you'll start getting attention. Once you have attention, then you can decide what to call it, what not to call it. It is not the end of the world if someone can't find you in a search engine. It really isn't. We have a wide range of abstract artists. We have one, I am not kidding when I say this, I don't even know how to describe it. Western scenes of cowboys and horses paired with Japanese ramen. That's her niche. That's what she does. And she actually does quite well. Who is looking for that? How do you find an audience for that? I'm an advertising expert. I don't even know how to advertise for that. I mean, yes, I have some ideas, but at the same time, she's doing quite well because she's marketing herself consistently and people see it and they're like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I need to have one, right? And so she found her little tribe within the tribe. So you early on, you don't know what you don't know, Jill. You have to start marketing. You'll never know the answer to that question if you don't start marketing. So that's how that goes. Elevating Art by Christine is asking, how do I know when to raise my prices? When the sales are coming thick and fast. When the sales are coming thick and fast, you're getting a ton of demand, you're moving units, time to raise the prices. Well, you can raise the prices at any point in time. In addition to raising prices, if you were watching earlier, and I think this is such an important one, when you think of the bell curve, right? And if that's just fact, all my followers and potential buyers are in that bell curve, all of Phyllis's, all of John's, all of Tim's, all of Emily's, then not only do you need to have price point differentiation, meaning it would be kind of nice if you had something on the lower end that those people that don't have a lot of money could buy, right? Because they love you, they follow you, but they don't have a lot of money. They can't afford a $1,500 original, and so you put in a set of greeting cards that are $20, and you know what? They're doing stocking stuffers with them. Okay, that's awesome. That's also awesome because guess what? Those people tend to become more successful in life, right? The hardest customer to get, a new customer. What is the easiest customer to get? The one that you already have. And even when you get one in at a $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 price point, it makes sense. But on the flip side of it is everyone should have an outrageously priced item or two in their store. Full stop. If you're selling originals for like, let's say $1,500 to $5,000, I want something in your store that costs $30 or $25, even $50, right? And the reason is a couple of fold. One, what you'll find is the high net worth individual, their status depends on something that's hard to get, something that no one else can afford, something that has the prestige to it, right? So you'll find that sometimes people might just buy as a result of that. That's number one. Number two, and again, this is for you, Christina. Number two, there's a thing called price anchoring, okay? And it's sort of psychological. Here's a way to think about it. You go to a Mercedes dealership, right? And in the middle of the Mercedes dealership is some giant glass building, right? With all the really, really expensive cars in it. The $350,000 Mercedes SLR carbon fiber, and the giant G-Wagon and everything else. No one's buying those cars, okay? Those cars are really expensive. But what those cars do psychologically is it makes us feel a little bit better about the cars that are outside of the glass house that we end up taking home. I'm not saying we're all in the market for a Mercedes or buying Mercedes. I have a used one with 130,000 miles on it, okay, and has a dent in the side of it. But technically I'm in the club. But it makes you feel better about your purchase at the normal price. You're like, whoa, that thing's $30,000. I actually feel pretty good about the $5,000. So that's an important one too with your prices, Christine. So one, if you have a ton of demand, raise your prices, kind of like I was talking about with Phyllis. It's a reversible decision. You can easily come back down, or have some really expensive stuff in the store and see if you get some bites on that. Also a very important one. But Amari, you're up next. I'll let you know when you get unmuted. Mike, bottom left-hand corner, microphone icon with a little, yep, gotcha.
Okay, great. Hi.
Hi.
So I'm wondering, how many pieces do you need to start?
One. One.
Really?
Yep. Everyone gets hung up on this one too. The idea is that the biggest problem you have is the fact that your website is not up and you're not working on your marketing. And so train A, train B. Train A says, I'll just get launched when I have 30 pieces, or when I get my work photographed, or when I figure out the shipping rates to Germany because I know I'm going to get a lot of orders from Germany. And then track B is I'm launching with my one piece. Every new piece that I actually get ready to go just becomes another marketing moment, and this train's going, this train's going, this train's going. And then in this one over here, a couple days, turn into a couple of weeks, turn into a couple of months. How's that train going? How's that train going? Hasn't left the track, has it? And there are so many artists that are in that capacity. You get the one piece, you get the website up, you start actively working on your marketing. Every new piece that you develop, hey guys, new item in the store, come check this out, right? So you got to get the train on the track and get it moving. You only need one. That's number one. Number two, don't have your work all photographed. Don't care. Use your phone. I know you have one. Photograph the work, put it up on the website, and start the marketing. You get an order. They want to print. And you say, hey, oh, Amari, thank you so much for that order. You're not going to believe this. I'm about to get the work all re-photographed because it's going to improve the print quality. Will you go ahead and wait for a couple of weeks while I get that done? I'll give you 5% off on the deal if that's okay. Sure, Patrick, I'd love to take that deal. Then run out, find somebody to photograph the work, then get it printed, right? So like the whole point is you got to get started. You got to get the website up. You need to start marketing, or you're not going to be making any forward progress whatsoever.
All right. I had one other question.
Yes.
Sort of combination. So I have a local printer that I work with who's
yes.
an amazing printer. How do I marry that printer with your printer?
You wouldn't. It's called self-fulfillment, and what you'll do is an order would come into your site. You'd send it to your printer. He'd take care of the rest.
So it's sort of like an either or situation. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's an either or on a situational basis, right? Like you can.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you have ultimate control, so you can do it however you like. But I would say, totally respect local printer. Totally respect good service. Not knocking it in the slightest. The only way it works with a local printer is if it's truly hands off and you don't have to do anything. And what do I mean? The order comes in. You see that email, and in the beginning, you're not getting hundreds of orders. You don't need to automate anything. The order comes in, you forward the email to your printer, and that's it. You don't touch anything, no correspondence, no nothing, and the payments worked out quite easily, and you keep moving. The problem that everyone gets involved in is like, oh, I have my local printer that I love. Okay, well, let me just tell you about it. Order comes in, you got to call them, you got to upload the art to them, then you got to go down and see a printed sample. And then you're following up, has it shipped yet? And then you get another email from your customer saying, has it shipped yet? Do you have the tracking number? And then you email them back and you say, no, I don't have the tracking number yet. I'll email you when I have the tracking number. And then another week goes by and they're like, okay, we're ready to ship. And then they ship. And then you're saying, here's the tracking number. Let me know. All of that is time, energy, effort, brain space that you are not spending marketing your business. It is not adding any substantive value to your bottom line when you're doing that. And so if it becomes that type of situation in which it's pulling those hours, pulling that brain space, then you're not spending that time on your marketing and the business is not growing, which is why we have the integrations, because you don't do anything. You literally do nothing. The order comes in, all the emails are handled for you. It gets printed, it gets boxed, your logo gets slapped on the side of the box, and it ships. And oh, by the way, when you're partnered with printers that are massive, i.e. over 50 million in revenue a year each, do you know what happens when something goes wrong? It's more expensive for those printers to do the damn customer service than it is just print and ship another one. So that's what happens. They just print and ship another one. It happens extremely infrequently, but it's just yet another example of, okay, now do that same situation with your local printer. It arrived damaged. You got an email. You wrote an email to the printer. The printer's like, I can't believe that happened. Send me pictures. Then you email the other person. Can you send me pictures? And then the pictures come back to your email. And then you send it to the printer, and the printer's like, that wasn't our fault. Contact that. No. You can't. You cannot be in that game.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. But again, I'm not knocking the local printer. I want those small businesses to survive. Okay, Katie's saying, I paint portraits, flowers, landscapes. All of these subjects are completely saturated, like you mentioned. Should I not bother? No, Katie, you might be very good at the portraits, the flowers, the landscapes. We have people that paint portraits, flowers, and landscapes and do very, very well. We have one gal who I love, Kim Zabia, her name is, and she paints flowers, and she has like this innate talent where she can do like a pretty decent sized canvas, and I'm not kidding, 20 minutes, and they look killer. And for Mother's Day, this woman puts out like 185 pieces, and they all sell instantaneously because it's like a killer, give flowers inexpensive, So there's a million different ways you can carve out that niche. So no, you should absolutely bother. If that's what you're good at, Katie, that's what you've been selling. You take those to market, you try to grow the business. All I'm saying is on the side, occasionally, if you paint 10 pieces, then I want 2 of them to be new styles, new ideas, something new that you can try, right? Every really successful artist that we have, and I used the Picasso example earlier, they're constantly pivoting and trying new styles and new ideas because you never know which one's going to be the next greatest to hit, right? Or, far outstrip and outpass the demand of what you had done previously. The examples I use is we have a gal that doesn't paint portraits at all, but she really liked Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she has nothing but daughters. And so Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and she painted this portrait of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, instantaneously sold the original, sold like 153 prints. I think all total dropped like $60,000 to her bottom line, all because she decided to do a pivot, all because she decided to be time sensitive. And now not everyone needs to be timed with the news, right? But, trying new things from time to time is a very healthy part of, growing a business. Like, you guys are just inventors at the end of the day, right? You're an inventor that can invent a new product out of whole cloth without leaving your house most of the time, unless you're a photographer, without any expensive prototyping costs. You don't need to send to China for an injection molding and wait 6 months. Like, you can create something brand new. You can show it to the world. You can see what kind of feedback you get on it. If it's crickets, on to the next. You know, what was lost in all of that? So I think that's just a sort of like a muscle that gets you through life and gets you through the business. So that's what I would say. Marie Wong's asking, how do you copyright your work? Good question. I don't even know if we have any advice on copywriting whatsoever. We've had like 0 issues with artists or photographers' work getting ripped off. I know that's a massive concern. You could certainly watermark your images if you're so inclined. You know, the dirty little secret is that if your work is getting ripped off early on, and you know, I was your business partner and advisor, I would be like, whoa, Marie, let's just keep a close eye on this, and let's just keep going with this, and let's see where it goes. And you wait and you wait and you wait until it's really selling, and then you hire a lawyer and you go after that person. That's normally how it goes. But for instance, okay, we have a guy who is making a strong living, and I'm not going to say which one, photographing the inside of a theme park and selling those photos, okay? How has that theme park not come after him? Total copyright issues. You could be selling photos of a theme park and their brands that they've developed through certain cinematic movies and animated series. Have any idea what the theme park is, by the way? And there's a forum, okay? And in the forum is a bunch of people that are doing the same thing that he does in one capacity or another. And they actually have an official so-and-so from the theme park in there. And he's like, as long as you don't get too big, theme park's totally okay with this. Because what are you doing? You're marketing their business for them, right? So the reality is, Maria, is I don't know anyone that's been ripped off considerably. You know, you get all these people that are like, well, I would never put a high-res image on my site, or, you know, I'm going to watermark everything. It's like, okay. Give me an example. You have any idea how damn hard it is to sell art in the first place? You think there's thousands of people out there scrambling every site, taking yours and making hundreds of millions of dollars from selling it? I know I'm being critical, but it doesn't happen, Marie. You can, if you want to, you can photograph each one, go down to a lawyer and say, how do I copyright this? But you don't need to do it. You put the language in your footer, okay? And if you want to watermark your images, you can. I wouldn't. And if you see your image show up somewhere else, there's a reverse image lookup search engine. You can use that, see if your images are on any other sites. If so, hire a lawyer. You send a cease and desist if you think they're doing volume soon. But otherwise, you don't let it occupy your brain space because it happens so infrequently. It's not growing your business worrying about that. So I'd say. Tim, you have like a very gaming inspired like background. Looks like you're like streaming or something with these, like, these little buttons and icons everywhere. Okay, what else? Questions? Something, anything? No. Okay. Oh, there we go. Phyllis is in for a 3, the trifecta. I like it.
How long does it take to get set up?
14 days.
14 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I should preface that. Again, it's like the law of averages. Like if we drop the highs and we drop the lows, because we have some people that sign up and take like 9 months to get live despite poking and prodding, and that's just what they do, and there's nothing we can do about it. 14 days if you have decent technical acumen and you work hard at it, right? If you've never built a website before and you know there's some cognitive learning that needs to go on, it could take you up to a month. But the reality is that we have a service that you can pay to do the whole thing for you too. So everything's available. Our support is really, really good. And, you know, everyone is operating under this notion that you need to have the website customized and have it look so beautiful and exactly to your artistic specific talents. And what have artists been doing for the last 20 years? Paying thousands of dollars for those things to happen. And what are they? They're all pretty portfolio sites that may look awesome to you, but they sell absolutely next to nothing. So our websites, by design, represent the experience that when you walk into an art gallery. And what do you do when you walk into an art gallery? Minimalist, all white walls, all about the art. That's where the focus is. That's all your website needs to be. We've already done all that solving for you. So you're not doing any fonts. You're not resizing any damn images. You're putting your logo up. You're filling out your About Me page. You're putting your images up. And you're on to your marketing. That's the only thing that's going to grow the business. And Phyllis, I'm ranting above and beyond your question. But that's it. That's it. We've already figured it out. Our websites are good. They work out of the box. There are people that are selling millions of dollars a year on art on them. There's no hacking or redesign crap that you need to do. Logo, About Me section, images, titles, pricing, start marketing.
Okay. And that is an additional cost to get that set up, or can you do it on your own?
No, you can do it. Yeah, you can do it 100% on your own, or you can pay to have it completely done. or anything in between.
Okay.
But you could do it. You got the time, Phyllis. Just not the right. Just not the right arm. Just not the right arm. To drive the mouse with the left. All right. Good questions. Okay. Anybody else? I'll leave it open in the chat for a second, and I'll talk briefly about what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, we have a deal going on. We're raising prices on our top plans. I think in like a couple of weeks. We were supposed to do it at the end of the year, but we got crazy busy and we got a bunch of complaints. We're not on our lowest plan, so if you want to get in on the lowest plan, that's the price on that's not going anywhere, so you don't have to stress. Trying to think what else. Yeah, you request a demo, outreach team calls you, 10-minute call, then you can schedule the real demo if you want to go through it, which is like an hour and 10-minute Zoom session, all the bells, all the whistles, of which there are quite a few. Okay, John, you're back in.
What's the most it would cost to get started? Like if you wanted to do all the programs, have it all set up for you, the whole deal, what's the most it would cost?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't even know what the right answer. I mean, I could range it, but I don't know what the right answer is. So, what they're doing now.
Have to be exact, like approximate.
Yeah, like if you wanted the top plan with every bell and whistle imaginable, and what they do is they do like a 5-year plan, right? Which I think is the biggest plan, and something like that, 5 years with all the features and everything else. Then you wanted to have the entire website designed. I would imagine that's probably somewhere around, I don't know, $5,500 or something like that, $6,000. On the marketing services side, I can't tell you because there's a bunch of like a la carte deals in there. Spruce up your Instagram profile, right? And they go through and they doctor it all up and get you the link tree and handle all your story highlights, and then they'll do the same thing for the Facebook page. But then there's ongoing too, right? Like do all of my social posting for me, do all of my email marketing for me, and so then you get into those extra services. But it's fun to flirt with all those ideas if you're really good at it and you have a good established business and you can do all of that. But if you're just getting started, what's rad is that there's everything from, my job is to make sure there's everything from DIY. You don't need to spend another dime. It's all there for you. The best education possible. And then if you're like, I'm over it, I want to pay for it, then fine, that's up there, and then everything in between. So if I've got that whole stack covered, I'm winning, right? Like my customers can do whatever they want, whenever they want, up to them, whatever's going to get them moving quickest. But early on, like I use that McDonald's analogy, and it's true, right? Like, John, if you're going to own a McDonald's, okay, you're opening one up in Phyllis's New Hampshire, you got to know how to do all those jobs before you hire for them. And if you don't, you can get snowed, right? You don't know somebody's doing a good deal, and that's just not the way to do it. So I say that sort of.
I've set up my own websites and all that. I was just wondering what like the ultimate cost to get started was. And I could probably, the fact of the matter is I could probably do a great deal of it myself. I've also, not only have I been an artist most of my life, but I've also been in sales and marketing most of my life. So I have a pretty good idea of what to do, and had my own businesses and ran other people's businesses and all of that sort of thing. I was just curious.
For sure. Great question. Amari is asking, how long is the art store, how long we've been up and running track record? I think all in, this is year number, it's either 7 or 8, 7 or 8 years, I believe. So, anytime you have a business that's that new, 7 or 8 years old, the next question you want to ask is, okay, who owns the company and who's running it? So the CEO prior to Art Storefronts owned a company called Breathing Color. It's one of the biggest fine art canvas and paper metal manufacturers in the business. He started that one, still owns it. Not a guy that sells businesses, so you can Google his name if you like. I'll put it in the chat for you. But yep, that's who's behind it. Not a fly-by-night operation, and not one that's going to be sold anytime soon either, is what I would say. But I think that's it. That sums it up, guys. Everyone, thanks for hanging out. Have an absolute fantastic week. We run 3 of these a week, so if you want to pop into another one, please do. Also run a weekly show called Art Business Mornings. We stream it live and it goes on the podcast. Recommend you check that one out. It's, whether you sign up or not at all, it's good. It's, it melds all the latest in marketing with facts on the ground, and it's totally free and totally awesome. We don't even have a good working sign up link. Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect. April shared the link if you want to check that out. But totally a cool thing to subscribe to. And like I said, totally free, totally awesome, the data on there. you know, the combination of being up to date with marketing stuff, and then, like I said, the data that I have from all the customers that are selling it gives you sort of a unique window into what's going on, I think. But okay, guys, we leave it there. Everybody have a wonderful week. Thanks.